Welcome to the Stellaris show. How's it going? Couple announcements. Obviously, I am aware of what's going on in America right now. I am aware that we got some new leadership in the White House, but as I've said many times, we don't really get political on this channel, so obviously I'm not going to be sharing my opinions about that. And I ask you guys during the stream if you could just, you know, keep any comments about that to yourself the best you can. You know, we definitely, you know, this is the Stellaris show, so yeah, we definitely don't want to get political here, and I try not to get as unpolitical on my channel as possible. So yeah, but I'm aware of what's going on right now, you know, but this is not the place to talk about it. So yeah, I just want to forewarn everyone. You know, I don't want to censor anybody. I don't want to, you know, have to deal with any of that. So yeah, I mean, this is pretty much common sense stuff, right? So, but yeah. However, you know, I guess hopefully this, no matter what you believe or what I believe, hopefully the next 4 years will be better than the last 4 years, regardless of why that was. So yeah, I mean, I think everybody can agree, no matter where you swing that way, that yeah, we've been on some tough times, you know, economically, all that stuff. But so I just wanted to get that out of the way. We're not going to talk about that. That's not what we're here for today. We are here to talk about something else pretty big that's also been happened, and that is the announcement of Stellaris 4.0. I've been getting a lot of buzz in my Discord about this. I've discussed it at length with people in the Discord. Also, by the way, if you're a longtime viewer of my channel and you've never checked out the Discord, you got to, man. I tell you, dude, that's where it is. That's where I'm at a lot. So if you ever want to hang out with me or talk to me, yeah, Discord's the place to do it. Yeah, we have a lot of fun there. Anyway, so I have something else that I want to talk about before I get started with this. So I was thinking of maybe there is a way to, you know, get more people to come to my streams here and hang out with us. You know, and probably the easiest way I could think of is just, if you like this stream, just share it with others. You know, spread the word, you know. Let people know that there's a dedicated Stellaris stream, you know, that airs most days at normal times. That, you know, if you want to watch gameplay or just want to talk about Stellaris in general, or, you know, want to be entertained for an hour, even if it's a guy as annoying as I am, you know, I'm pretty sure I've checked around. I'm pretty sure I'm literally the only show in town right now. Not many. I don't know of any other YouTubers that are doing what I've been doing these past few months with this show. So if you like the show and you want to see it grow, which I do, yeah, spread the word, let people know about it. I mean, word of mouth will help. Anything will help, you know. And then obviously, you know, if you want to like it, boost the algorithm any way you can, that's cool. But yeah, I mean, let's get the word out about the show anyway. So speaking of the show, so yeah, as most of you know that play Stellaris, you probably saw in your Steam feed the latest development diary. I must apologize for not keeping up with it. There has been a lot going on in my life. So I thank the people in my Discord that brought this to my attention. I had looked at it a little bit. I did play a little bit of Stellaris on my off time. But anyway, so we're gonna go ahead. I'm going into this blind. So I'm gonna see what they have to say. You guys know I recently came out with the How to Save Stellaris video. So this is gonna be really relevant to some of the things that I brought up in that video, I'm sure, or not. And so I'm gonna share my initial gut reaction right off the bat. You You know, I was pretty concerned when after I came out with that video and they came out with those survey requests, you know, making it pretty obvious that they were kind of either at a loss or they were a little. I don't think they would have been spamming those surveys if they weren't if there wasn't something, you know, unpleasant going on. I don't know, as far as the game's concerned, like if they weren't like, okay, if they were seeing really good numbers, I mean, this might be routine, don't get me wrong. But I just got the feeling that like they're kind of not desperate maybe, but like is the right word, but like they're concerned. They're concerned with their numbers. You know, those cold, soulless CFO numbers. And they're trying to figure out why. I've seen, you know, developers do this before and publishers do this before, you know, where but then again, it could be something else. Again, like I said, this is just my speculation. So with this, you know, first they said that, you know, they'd already had their work planned out for, after they released these surveys, then they publicly stated that they were going to, that the work that they scheduled was already done. It was already set in stone. Okay. So basically you're telling us you value our opinion, but you don't, but you're not willing to do anything in response. So that was my initial reaction to that when they said that their work had already been, the work had already been allocated, like they'd already had their plans set in stone in advance, you know, like I think the next 2 years already planned out. Well, okay, well, 2 years, why are you asking us for an opinion if you're going to do it anyway? I guess is my reasoning. Like, wouldn't you ask somebody for their input before you do something? So it's kind of like, yeah, I mean, that's kind of how I felt about that. It was kind of like, okay, do they really care or do they not care? It's kind of conflicting messaging here, you know? Because I think if they cared, they would say, what would you like us to do next? Instead of, oh, well, we're already going to do this, but, you know, we just wanted to know how you feel. Okay. Well, if you're not going to change anything, what's the point? Anyway, I'm sorry, guys. I'm a little bit in a mood. Maybe I shouldn't be doing the stream. I don't know, but fuck it. So let's look at this. So announcing Stellaris 4.0, Diary 366. Man, it's been a long time. This game's been up for a long time. So happy New Year. It's good to be back. I want to start by welcoming all the new Stellaris players who joined us during the winter sale and to our Chinese community, okay, which has grown so much over the last year. So I have a little bit of concern over that. You know, I saw the same thing. I saw another developer and publisher, you know, give a lot of love to China, and not getting political here, I'm not, but it was Blizzard, and then shortly after they started catering to another country like that, yeah, that's kind of when it started going downhill. Now that could just be correlation, doesn't mean it exactly equals causation, and I don't think there's anything wrong with, you know, diversifying, branching out, and appealing to a global audience. I just think that you know, most of your players are here in America, so I mean, be careful with that is what I'm saying. Don't do what Blizzard did. So yeah, that's all I got to say about that. You know, not saying that you know taking care of your Chinese players is a bad idea. No, absolutely not. They're players too. You know, everyone, you know, every player deserves to be heard. It's just, yeah, I mean, you anyway. So I'm going to back away from that. But so next, I want to draw your attention to several feedback threads that have been running for the past few weeks. These threads have forms you can fill out to share your thoughts. Now, I did not fill out any forms. I did better. I made a video, right? And I don't think I did it for every one of their posts, but for 2 or 3 of their posts, I posted my video and say, hey, check this out. You know, I also encouraged you guys, I don't know if any of y'all did it. Mad props to you if you did it, to post it as well in their in the discussion, in their comment section. So, your feedback is essential in shaping Stellaris' future. You mean past the first 2 years? And I'm extremely grateful for the strong response we've received so far. So, for some time, I've been hinting that the Custodian team has been working on something big. So now let's look at what they've been up to and what we're planning for the first half of 2025. Okay. A moment of prophecy. A long, long time ago, I was asked when we would move on to Stellaris 4.0. And I answered, definitely not until we get to release update 3. What is that? Oh, wow. I need to clean my screen. Update 3.14. All right. So that's the Circinus. I don't know where they come up with these names. To me, it sounds like Circus, but anyway. Little did I know how prophetic that joke really was. Announcing Stellaris 4.0. The Quarter 2 Stellaris release, currently expected sometime around our anniversary in May, will be the Stellaris 4.0 Phoenix update. Okay, I like the name Phoenix. That's cool. It'll be released alongside our major expansion for the year. So they're not announcing the expansion though. So I guess this is a typical thing. I mean, I just so it looks like they're about to release a new expansion. So it says major expansion 2 also. So that kind of gets me hopeful that maybe they're going to put out another Machine Age. That would be nice. Yeah, anything but Astral Storm or Astral whatever, Astral Planes, Cosmic Storms. Now, some people liked Grand Archive. I skipped that one too. I am not a fan of Space Fauna. That's my opinion. But there are a lot of people that are. So, to be generous and to be respectful, I will say that Grand Archive wasn't a total stinker. Okay? It wasn't. It definitely had its place. And it was also a story update. I actually, and so, they gave the Space Fauna love. I've always ignored the Space Fauna, but there's a lot of people that like it. And I've heard good feedback and comments about Grand Archive. So, I just feel like it wasn't. I feel like they could have covered something more impactful, like maybe Hive Mind or you know my thoughts. You've watched. If you haven't watched, so here's the thing. Right now, guys, I should have said this before. If you have not watched my How to Save Stellaris video, you need to go watch that before you watch the rest of the stream. If you're watching it after the fact, if you can, watch it in the background at the very least. Like, hopefully you watched it before I say what I'm about to say, because I pretty much made my points in that video about how I feel about Stellaris in general and what direction I think it should go in. And not just me, but I feel a lot of people feel the same way that I do. Simply through my own observations, conversations I've had with others, comments, and your engagement as viewers has told me these things. So, and also my own experience with the game that you guys can see live, on YouTube. I have videos up there that showcase a lot of the things that I'm talking about. So, anyway, while designing the plan for 4.0 release, the Custodian team had the following major priorities: performance improvements, new player guidance and game pacing. Okay. Quality of life improvements. Okay, now that's a good one. Just how much and what that is remains to be seen. Give me a second here, guys. I'm gonna take a bite of my food. Okay. So they go on to say, as much of this is still very deep in active development, I don't want too many screenshots to show off yet. So I'll go over some of what we have planned and provide more in-depth details in future dev diaries. As they get closer to completion, some of these features will likely change as we iterate on them. And it's possible that some may end up very different from how they were described in this dev diary, be delayed, or even cut altogether. These are some of the risks of sharing plans in an early stage, but I feel that the benefits outweigh any potential drawbacks. So I want to point out here a problem in the gaming community, just in video games in general over the years that I've seen, that I really have never understood with developers. Now, I'm not saying they're doing this or not doing this. Maybe they do what I'm gonna. But why on earth do developers not? It really seems like with some games that the developers simply and publishers did not get any normal people to test their game before they released it and give them their feedback. I see that happen a lot in a lot of games, and I really hope they don't do that here. I really hope they don't ever do that, and I can't really tell yet whether or not I haven't really seen a lot of that with Stellaris. It does seem like some of the stuff they come out with, it was at least tested by them. Well, that's the other thing. Like I think some devs, even worse, they don't even play their game before they put it out. They just write the code and they release it. I really think that's what's happens with a lot of developers. It's terrible. Yeah, why would you do that? Anyway, no, unless you're doing a cash grab, and some of them are. But so performance improvements. Stellaris has many moving parts, and an incredible number of calculations are performed every month. Many of those calculations rely on others, forcing them to be performed sequentially rather than in parallel. Okay, English, please. But let me see if I can translate here. Okay, so basically, it's kind of like the traveling salesman problem. Okay, if it's a word problem where the traveling salesman goes here and then he goes there and then he goes there, and then they present this math problem based on the information. Well, long story short, computers have a hard time grasping that particular problem. So if you load the computer up, the principle is that if you load the computers that we have right now, with too many different variables and too many different possibilities and combinations, it can't possibly compute them all, and it'll just sit there loading forever. Okay, that's why it takes supercomputers sometimes days to come up with answers to existential problems or whatever. Anyway, that's what I understand. So I guess that's what they're saying here, is that basically, they got to be careful not to load the computer up too much, or the performance will just stop. Anyway, this causes the game, like I just said, this causes the game to slow down as the number of calculations increases throughout the game, and is especially noticeable in large galaxies. Okay. Absolutely. Well, and I've said that about, I believe I did say that in my How to Save Stellaris video, but I'll say here just in case I didn't, because there was a couple things I missed. I mean, honestly, if I had gotten everything, if I'd sat down and wrote down everything and made a point of covering every single little thing that came up before and after, it would have been an hour instead of 30 minutes. Even after cutting it down. More planets and empires means more pops filling more jobs, producing more resources with more pathfinding for the fleets, and so on. That's correct. So the way the game is right now, guys, as most of you know, that have ever played a large map, there's a point, it's usually around 2400, 2350, where the game, it doesn't become unplayable, but it starts getting really slow, and time dilation really feels real in Stellaris. you really feel that time dilation in Stellaris, like seriously. And apparently it's because of all the pops that keep spawning, and the game has to calculate all those pops. And people have been ranting and raving about this for years, and it is a huge problem. It is, and something they should have dealt with many years ago, but they never have, for reasons I can't imagine. But why would you have a game that doesn't work on a certain setting and release it? Well, I don't know. Apparently they did. So that's why a lot of people like to crack planets, because it just, destroy all those pops and just destroy the planets so that the game goes faster in endgame. So that's a legitimate strategy at times. Anyway, pops and jobs. The pop and job system introduced in Stellaris 2.2, Li Juin, however you pronounce that, has always had a major performance implications in the late game. We've been working on incremental improvements ever since. Okay, show me, because I have not seen any. I have been playing since that time, and I have not seen one improvement that really made that any better at all. So yeah, yeah, I question that. Let's see. The tech pope speaks. Let's see. So the tech pope. Why does Stellaris slow down? Okay. I don't know who the tech pope is, but I guess it's one of their developers, maybe. Last year, I mentioned that we were exploring a pop group's prototype, and showed you a horrifying placeholder screenshot in the last dev diary of the year. Our initial experiments have been promising. So in Stellaris 4.0 Phoenix update, we're changing the way pops fundamentally work. Pops will be grouped together into pop groups based on species, strata, and ethics. And these pop groups will produce a workforce that is used to fill or partially fill jobs. Okay. As part of so they're going to make a new resource. Oh, that's not going to complicate things. As part of this change, we're changing the overall scale of pops. Most things that previously affected or manipulated one pop would now affect or manipulate 100. Okay. So, I mean, it's kind of hard to understand, to be honest. I'm a pretty simple guy. 1 + 1 = 2. But this sounds like some incredible spaghetti math here. And I don't think everybody is a math teacher. I don't think everybody is a experienced mathematician. I'm sure you're out there. Not hating on you if you exist, but I mean, what about the rest of us that didn't like math in school? Now, the whole workforce thing. I mean, like I said, they're making it sound like it's another resource that you're going to have to keep track of. Well, I mean, they just talk about they want to simplify the game, yet they're adding more complication to it. So I don't know. Look, I might be overly critical here. I mean, I want to be optimistic. I mean, just the fact that they're working on it, I should give them props. I should. But this idea to just do an overhaul, I don't know if I agree with that. Like, see, I mean, yes, something has to be done about the performance. And maybe there is no way to, to keep the pops without doing something like this. I just wonder if there's a easier, simpler way. But you know what? Let's read on. I'm going to put a pin in this. I'm not going to give a complete verdict on this yet, whether I think this is good or bad. I mean, yeah, if one pop, but how does one pop do the job of 100? That's the confusing part to me. How are you going to make that work effectively? See, there's efficient and then there's effective, right? Now they can both be the same thing, but there are oftentimes something will be super efficient but not be very effective. So that's what I'm concerned with here. is this going to be effective? Okay. It might be efficient on paper, but will it actually work when put in practice? These changes will significantly impact other systems such as pop growth, migration, and many others. I'll dedicate a few dev diary to more details for the open beta. Trade. The current trade system, with its constant calculations around pathing and pirate generation, is another that has a disproportionately high impact on performance compared to the benefit. Yeah, no kidding. And I honestly, this is news to me. Really? So that you're telling me the whole piracy thing not only is annoying, not only does it not do anything or make any difference in my game whatsoever, but it's the part of the reason my game's slowing down? Damn. Just take it out, dude. I mean, take it out or make it something and turn it into something else instead. Like, man. But yeah, definitely need to fix that. We're simplifying that one significantly and making trade act as a standard resource. Trade will also be used to represent general logistics capability, and as such, what does that mean? Will likely become available to Gestalt empires for these logistical purposes. Again, we'll cover this in key dev diary. All right, so I have had bad experiences in the past with logistical content or features in various games. Now, this isn't an automation game, or this is, you know, a 4X strategy game, but I mean, my experience has been when you make logistics more complicated, the game just stops being fun. Honestly, it stops being fun. Now, some people, that'll float their boat. Great. But I think, I mean, I don't think complex is better, Paradox. I think that's what Paradox needs to learn here, is that complicated is not necessarily better. Simple is best. And simple doesn't mean dumb. It doesn't mean stupid. It doesn't mean ignorant or lack of intelligence. In fact, okay, I'll prove it to you. In math, you have the lowest common denominator. Why do mathematicians always go with the lowest common denominator? Because that's the purest form. That is the most powerful form of math right there. It's the power of deduction. So when you make something simple, you're using that power of deduction. That's how I feel. Anyway, so fleets are the remaining system I'd like to highlight for having a major performance impact. Yeah, I can see that. While 4.0 will have some general fixes, we've got our hands full with these changes, so we're expecting to focus more on them in a future update. So yeah, I agree. As far as like priorities, definitely fix the pops first. You know, fix performance from pops, then fix performance from trade, and then fleets last. I think the other reason it's going to be kind of hard is because for fleets is, you know, you do want really ginormous fleets, and there's no way around it. So it's just going to take performance no matter what system you come up with, I think. But that, again, I'm not a developer, I'm not a programmer, so what the hell do I know? It's just one man's opinion. So new player guidance and game pacing. Much of the feedback we've received from newer players indicates that Stellaris has become overwhelming in the early stages of the game, providing a flood of decisions and a seamlessly endless barrage of notifications. Yeah, the notifications are real. In fact, if you're new, dude, if you're new to Stellaris and you hate notifications like I do, like, there is a setting you can go into to basically make that so that they are a pop-up, like they do not come up in your face. You have to go click on them and open them. That has been a huge game changer for me personally. In fact, I did that in the past couple of years, and ask anybody, I've been having a much better time with my Stellaris since I made that change. So yeah, I highly recommend that switch to anybody who's having this issue. They have trouble identifying which of these choices are important for long-term growth versus which are primarily flavor. Yeah, you know, I have an issue with that too. I'll talk about that in a second. and the constant interruptions make it difficult to form both short-term and long-term goals. So, yeah, the constant interruptions, see, ADHD is an epidemic. That's just the way it is. Most of us, especially most of us guys, have, but plenty of girls, I know plenty of girls too. My mother, for one. A lot of people, a lot more people today have this disorder, have that condition than ages past. So you've got to accommodate for those people. You do. Because they're the majority, I believe. I believe the majority that play this game have some form of ADHD, ADD. I can't prove it, but yeah, it is a thing, right? ADHD is a thing. And if you suffer from it like I do, and I do mean suffer, having all those notifications popping up in your face constantly is going to distract you, and distraction is much more devastating for somebody with ADHD who already has a hard time focusing than someone who doesn't. Okay. Now, I know there's some of you guys that are just like, oh, well, that's not my problem. Okay, great. But we're talking about the player base here, not just talking about one individual. So yeah. So the inability to focus is a terrible problem. And then so the event pop-ups, right? You've got this wall of text. TLDR, what do most people do, especially people with ADD, when they see a wall of text? They shut down. Their eyes glaze over. They're just like, how do I get this out of my face? That's their first, that's my first reaction. Honestly. I don't want to sit there. I'm busy doing this. I don't want to sit there for 5 minutes, read. Too long, didn't read is a thing. So that's what we're fighting against here. When we have these long event pop-ups, especially ones that seemingly go nowhere, or they're just there for story and nothing else. This is basically the main point of contention and reason why I rip on RP like I have in the past. In good fun, just an arm rib, but that's why I have a hard time with RP myself, is because, having to sit there for 10 minutes reading something, that you could just listen to or whatever. Yeah, you can judge it all day long, but that's just the way things are now. And, right or wrong, that's just what we have to deal with. And, now see, the thing of it is, what I think, I have a solution though. Here's what they could do. Okay, for the people that like the story and the people that don't. Okay, for the people that have ADHD and the people that like to take their time and immerse themselves further through story, through, written text, and they love the written text, right? Nothing wrong with that. That's how a lot of us grew up, right? When we played RPGs as kids, they didn't have dialogue. Until Morrowind came along, you basically had to read. When I played Final Fantasy back in the day, Final Fantasy VI, man, I was a kid. I played, or it was Final Fantasy 3 on the Super NES, right? I played that. Well, I had to read the text. They didn't talk, and I still got a lot out of it. True. But eventually, I did start playing games where I experienced dialogue, where they would talk, and I could listen, and I really couldn't go back after that. It changed me forever. I'll tell you, Morrowind was that game for me. Now, there was some reading in Morrowind. It was kind of a mixture, but once Oblivion came out, without a shadow of a doubt, my days of reading the wall of text were over, for the most part, barring a couple rare occurrences here. Baldur's Gate 3, look at that. You really don't have to read much playing that, which was why I enjoy it. I love the dialogue, and it's a lot better, I think. It's a much richer experience, It is kind of like you're watching a movie, but you're also influencing that movie and writing the movie as you go along. It's great. And, Mass Effect, same thing. And everybody loves Mass Effect. Nobody has anything bad to say about it. The original Mass Effects, 1, 2, and 3. Great games. Baldur's Gate 3, great game. Morrowind, Oblivion, Skyrim, great games. you know, and there wasn't a lot of text reading in there. So there is a little bit of divide here. But I do, like I said, I don't want to disrespect my viewers that like RP. Like I said, I don't hate you. You know, I do respect that. It's just, you know, so I think the solution here is kind of color code the boxes. Make it very obvious that, hey, dummy, this is something you need to pay attention to. Like the asteroid event, right? Obviously has huge consequences if you ignore it, right? So that's an event pop-up that needs to like be in red or something. Oh, forgive me. I'll go ahead and find that. But yeah, that's something you need to be aware of, right? So events like that, like the one where you've got to pick a new ethic for your government. Yeah, you want to make sure you do that one correctly. Don't gloss that one over, right? Don't just pick something at random like I do sometimes, just to get it out of my way. Yeah, but definitely with events that are highly impactful, like matter, or build events, right? Events that go with your build. Like, for example, you're doing under one rule. Yeah, you need to pay attention to every single event from that chain that pops up. That could be in gold or something, or more embellished, right? Because it's a part of your build, and that's very important to you. So basically kind of color coding, making it much more obvious when a wall of text is not that important to read or pay attention to, I think is the way to go moving forward, obviously. Now they've done it, they started doing it a little bit, but I think they just need really, you know, and thank God, guys, honestly, I would not play this game if you could not mouse over the options and see exactly what resources it gives you. I tell you, I wouldn't play. I wouldn't play if I had to guess, or if I had to just, you know, trial and error that. Nope, I wouldn't do it. So that is something they are doing right with those, is that you can at least mouse over. And for you new guys, if you want to know what to pick, just mouse over the dialogue options and it'll tell you what happens in response to that. Usually. Okay. Not always. That's another thing. So yeah. But anyway, so we got that. Yeah, the event pop-ups, definitely they need an overhaul for sure. More meaningful events. The content design team has been reviewing events and notifications to ensure that any interruptions are meaningful. Events should not be purely informative. Should generally not be purely informative. You should have a choice that has an impact. I agree with that. A substantial number of purely informational events, such as the discovery of terraforming candidates or new strategic resources, have been converted into toasts or notifications. Good. Yeah, I don't really think we need a wall of text for things like that. I agree with that. Some people won't, though. Respect, but you know what? I mean, I think it's for the best, if you ask me. As an example, during your first steps to the stars, you'll find evidence that life is surprisingly common out in the galaxy. While this is used to simply have an acknowledgement, you will have choices based on the nature of your empire. Okay. So, not sure what to think about that. You know, it's kind of like, I picked my build, I want to play my build. I don't want to change my build when I first open the game. Yeah, no thanks. Anomalies are wonderful content delivery vehicle during the exploration phase, but have a window pop up in your face every time one of your science ships finds anything interesting is decidedly less wonderful. And look, guys, it took them, what, 6, 7, 8 years to realize this? Now? I could have told you this 5 years ago. Yeah, so that's kind of another indicator of a bigger problem that I want to point out here. I think really, you know, They've been sitting on a lot of these problems for a long time for no reason. Other than maybe money, I don't know. We're moving the pop-up to a toast. You can click it or a notification to open the full anomaly window or go to get it through the... Now, this is there's something else I want to bring up here that they need to absolutely change. If a leader dies, we need... Give us a fucking go-to button, please, for dead leaders, please, so I can go in and replace them easily instead of having to guess who died. I don't understand why they don't have that. So, yeah, if they make all these changes and they don't have that, I am gonna flame them hard. Yeah, and I'll tell you that right now. That or anything else like that, where they don't have a go-to button. Yeah, it does, but they don't have a go-to button. I've never seen one. I've never been able to find one. Are you saying they do? Yeah, see, for council members, sure, but no, I'm talking about your scientist dies, that official that was like giving you massive energy credit bonuses for your energy credit planet. Yeah, I want to know if he dies. I want to know right away, and I want to be able to replace him immediately. Get somebody on there that has that same trait. Yeah, it's very frustrating when they don't let you go to, like, why? Why don't you let us go to whatever's missing? You know, it's very hard to manage. It makes things very hard to manage. There's just and they're really, honestly, that's not the only thing. There's so much clunkiness with, you know, keeping track of stuff, man. I think bottom line, guys, when it comes to the UI, quality of life, events, all that stuff, shit just needs to be easier to track. It really does. You just need more ways to track things. Yeah, having to check through each and every planet. I mean, it's ridiculous. I have 50 planets. Why the heck? I can't possibly comb through them. You know, to find where that missing leader is. So yeah, this is like one of those things that, like, that just common sense, that, like, why haven't they ever thought of this? You know, do they not play their own game? I guess, again, back to what I'm saying, where it's like they don't even play their own game. Not as much as we do anyway. But anyway, let's move on though. So the certain event chains that are not particularly loved have had or will have a bit of adjustment as well. Okay. Speaking of toasts and notifications, the message systems setting system has been expanded to give you more control over how different messages should appear. So here's another problem I have with the event chains, right? Let's take the Murmureku, or no, you know what? Let's take Rowdy Bunch. I know you guys know what I'm talking about. That Rowdy Bunch event, whatever it is. I don't know the exact name of it, but it basically, there's Rowdy Bunch in there somewhere. But basically, it just makes one of your planets completely unstable and unplayable for a long period of time. And you just have to go through it. And also, you could be busy with war, for example, or other things that are way more important than fucking with that. But you have to pay attention to it and solve the situation immediately, or you will basically, that planet will be gone. Or, you know, or at best, will just be inactive until you pay attention to it. Yeah, like, it just, so stuff like that, you know, the garbage event, where it puts garbage around your planet, like, I think they need to make a lot more positive events, okay? I think that's really what we're lacking here. I think we need some boons, okay? We need some good luck along with the bad luck, okay? Most of what I see, most of the events that happen are pure bad luck. Like, you know, especially, oh man, there is an event chain that I hate so much. I hate it so much, or I used to. It doesn't bother me as much now as it used to, but boy, did it piss me off before when I was new. It's that event chain of the cult event chain in the beginning, where you have to like land on these ships and bring transports over to them, and they're all in all these inconvenient random places. Fleets that are initially bigger than yours, so you've got to build fleets even though you don't want to, and go fight them even though you don't want to, and chase them around the galaxy. Oh my god, that event chain, it screwed a couple of my playthroughs. It did, simply because they were in the way. I mean, I have not had a problem with that event chain in a while, but like I'm saying, that's just an example of what I guess they're talking about as well, where they're not very popular. We're doing a pass on default settings for each as well. Oh, message settings. Speaking of toast notifications, the message system has been expanded to give you more control how different messages should appear. Now, why couldn't you just do that in the beginning? Why couldn't you just have all these changes in the beginning? That's kind of my reaction there as well. So we're doing a pass on default settings for each as well. The new message settings should allow you to customize your notifications to suit your preferences. There's another event too, another event chain that's very irritating. That's actually ended a couple of my runs. Because I wasn't paying attention to it, and then I clicked the wrong thing, and it completely changed my government. Screwed my entire run. Some of you may know which one that is right away, right off the bat. But basically, it changes your ethic, and that really screws things up. It really does. Something like that, especially it doesn't give you bold letters to say, if you pick this, this will happen. That's another thing they need to start putting in these events like this, if they're going to have them. If they're going to have them. There needs to be bold warning letters telling you, hey, if you pick this, there are consequences, right? If you pick this, your government will be reformed. Why can't they put that little warning there? That kind of thing. So, yeah, I just think they need to give a lot more detail to the event chains. And also, for example, I have an entire video about synthetic fertility telling you what to pick, because oftentimes if you pick the wrong thing, you can really screw yourself. And it's not clear at all as to what the consequences are for you picking that thing. I don't understand why they do this. It needs to be clear-cut in your face. Yeah, this is what you're going to get if you pick this. Now, I heard from someone, a commenter, I think, that they may have fixed it. But still, like, whether you want a pop-up, okay. New message settings should allow you to customize your notifications to suit your preferences, whether you want a pop-up that automatically pauses the game or to turn certain notifications completely off. Leader trait frequency. So, I mean, they're doing it's that is much better, I must say, than it used to be when I started. It used to drive me up the wall. I'll tell you. All those pop-ups, not being able to control them, pausing and unpausing. But another thing they really need to look at here is, well, a couple things. There are two things this game badly needs, quality of life-wise. The first is one button that just bans auto-pausing or auto-unpausing. The game only pauses when you press that spacebar. That's it. Please give that to us. Paradox, please. One button. I don't want to have to uncheck all these things. Just one button that says never pause or unpause without the spacebar. That's simple. The next thing, and I haven't heard them talk about it yet, and they need to fucking do it, that I didn't mention in my video, is, for the love of God, make a no pause feature, a something you could toggle that says, I cannot press the space bar to pause the game. Like, I cannot unpause the game. So new players, so in PvP, you cannot pause the game. Well, let's say I wanted to try PvP, and this has actually been a problem in the past of me trying to step into that space. Well, how am I going to get used to PvP if I can't get used to pausing and pausing the game? And I've tried to not press the spacebar. It's just such an automatic part. You know, it's so ingrained in me to press it that I end up pressing it by accident anyway. So give us a feature, give us some kind of toggle to turn pause on and off itself, to make it available or not available in the settings, which I can go into at any time and reactivate it if I need to, you know? Or you know, allow us to choose what button we press to pause the game. Like, it could be the pause break button out of the way so that I don't accidentally press it by pushing the spacebar. Okay? That is something we badly need. In fact, I think the PvP community would be a little bigger at the very least if people could practice not pausing their game. You know? I think it would bring more people in. You know? It would make more people, because then they could train without being in a game with another person. They could train like that, because I think that's really the most difficult part, or at least the most difficult sounding part of the whole PvP experience, is the fact that you can't pause the game. You know? And in fact, I would love the challenge of being able to not pause the game ever and play it, or, you know, real time. You know, despite what people, you know, razz me about wanting this to be an RTS. I mean, I don't, but like, you know, being able to have that, be able to do that challenge, I think would be pretty rewarding. And it would make you a better player, right? It'd make you faster. Like, I love challenges that make me better, you know? That's why I do them, right? That's why I say, okay, well, maybe I'm just not going to play Hive Mind for a while, or just play vanilla only, even though I hate it. Because it'll make me better, because there's advantages that I won't have. And I have to learn how to adapt and play without them. Just for example, okay? So anyway, well, but yeah, that's something I really hope they add, or do. I don't know why they have it. It's one of those things that, like, a lot of the stuff that they're talking about, it's like, why haven't you done this 5 or 6 years ago? Why? You've had all these years to do this. Why now? It's kind of too late, to be honest. And it's not too late, but, like, really, it's kind of, I don't know. I kind of have a problem with how long they've taken to finally acknowledge some of these things. So leader trait frequency. Empire leaders were cited in your feedback as feeling very needy, like they're constantly clamoring for attention to select new traits if you owned Galactic Paragons. I don't disagree. I am with those people. We're looking at merging the first 2 tiers of leader traits and reducing the number of levels that you make trait selections at. This has the net effect of increasing the overall power of leaders a bit, as they'll start with what was formerly a tier 2 trait, and if select a new trait at level 3 instead of upgrading their starting trait. You have 2 formerly 2, okay, whatever. Math, don't care. But makes the experience with them a bit smoother. Okay. Fewer traits selections do put you at a greater mercy of the random selection of options. So we're increasing the number of options draws by 1. This should reduce some of the risk of getting a dead trait without diminishing the benefit of +1 leader trait option effects too much. Okay, so my problems with leaders. I don't know if I mentioned it in my video, but here are my issues with leaders right now. What they just mentioned, basically, pay attention to me. Pay attention to me. They're just as bad as the event notifications. You know, it is just insanity right now. I am having to level up a leader every 5 seconds when I'm playing Stellaris. It really feels that way sometimes. Even late game. So yeah, they could definitely tone that down for sure. But the other thing too, leaders just need to be more powerful. They need to be more powerful and they need to live longer. All right, look, I get it. It's realistic for a leader to die. But goddamn, can I not have a leader die like within 5 years? Can they put some kind of mechanic in there that keeps leaders, more than one leader, from dying more than once every 5 years? I know that's good. That would be pretty hard to implement, but if there is a way, please do it. I'm telling you, like, I don't. That's one of the most annoying things too in Stellaris, is when 5 of your leaders die at once out of nowhere. And it's usually at the most inconvenient times, right? When your concentration and focus is already taxed. You're already like, going 110% with your brain power. And then that happens. You get 5 leaders die within the same year. It's like, God damn, dude. Leave me alone. Let me focus, please. And then the no go-to button, right? I've got to go find them. So yeah, again, please add the go-to button. Got to. If you're going to make leaders better, please add the go-to button. So I do not have to sit there and sift through planets and guess which leader died. I cannot memorize the name. I have ADD. I cannot do it. Okay? Go-to button, please. As Stellaris has grown, so has the number of pre-scripted systems, okay, whatever that means. Many of these unique systems were set at extremely high weights to appear, causing most of them to appear in every game you play, since these special systems usually contain one or more habitable worlds. It inflated the number of such worlds well above the expected number. Don't know exactly what they're talking about here. Are they talking about federations? Especially since they did not expect the habitable worlds slider from your... Respect the habitable world slider from your setting. We've done a normalization pass on the weights of these systems. Many should still appear in each game, but it shouldn't try to stuff all them in. They also now respect the habitable worlds and pre-FTL sliders from Galaxy setup if appropriate, and should generally no longer appear in the immediate vicinity of Empire homeworlds. For the love of God, Paradox, please stop with the Federation starts. Could you please lower the weights for that? I don't mind it once in a while, but it's every fucking game. Every fucking game, I've got a huge Federation power block that I've got to deal with. It's ruined a lot of my games. It really has. It's hard to compete with. It's really hard to compete with if you're on the outside. And there's problems with joining them too. So, let's see. Empire focuses. All right, so this is probably the most controversial part of this whole. The focus trees and some other grand strategy games do a great job of outlining possible ways you could take your country. In Hearts of Iron, for example, you already know the general plot. Different factions will behave as you expect until world tension reaches a certain level, whatever world tension means, after which the world descends into war. The differences that will occur from game to game are largely due to the how the events play out, and your interference in history lets everything spiral out into an alternate resolution. The focus trees not only provide a great way to create butterflies that can change history, but are fantastic at providing new players with short and medium-term goals. Okay. Sorry about the noise. Give me a second. We decided the static focus trees were not appropriate for Stellaris, though. Our sandbox and 4X style nature, or 4X nature with a mysterious universe, require any such systems to be more adaptable to what's happening in this galaxy. Instead of trees, we decided to go with suggested tasks that fall into conquest, exploration, or development aspiration categories. These can range from investigating an anomaly to building a Dyson swarm. At the highest ranks, even becoming Galactic Custodian. You'll be able to select your Empire's focused aspiration, which will skew the offered tasks toward your choice, okay? Completing these tasks gives no immediate reward, but progresses you down conquest, exploration, development tracks. And if you get a task that you've already completed, that's fine. It'll immediately complete and can get a new one. We don't want you to sit there waiting to build your interstellar assembly after all. Reaching certain milestones will grant abilities like Form Federation, which will be moving out of the diplomatic traditions, or give guaranteed research options for critical technologies, reducing your reliance on random pulls from the technology deck for techs like cruisers, colonial centralization, or mega engineering. I have one thing right now that can fix all the tech problems. Locking. Being able to lock the goddamn tech for the next roll. They do it in all these roguelike games. Brotato, Vampire Survivors. You know, I think Vampire Survivors have it. I'm pretty sure. Or not. It might not, actually. Vampire Survivors might not. But other ones do. There's this other game I played called Yet Another Zombie Survival. Good game. Encourage you to check it out. It's more obscure, but definitely decent game. I'm sure a lot of people here played Brotato. But yeah, in a lot of those games, you can lock your tech choices or your, upgrade choices. That's all they need. Just put that in. You can make it one, and you could limit it too. But even being able to lock one thing, being able to choose one thing every roll that I can save for the next roll will fix the problem completely. It will be fair, it'll be balanced, and the player will have control over their destiny. What's happening the way it is right now, I am basically forced to pick exotic gases whenever it comes up. Even if there's cruisers there, even if there's, mega engineering, I'm forced to pick it. Because I know if I don't, and this is another problem they need to fix, it's a required tech. But it is fucking rare at times. It is way more rare than, say, cruisers. Or the fleet tech, the ship type, or ship design tech. It should not be like that. That should be something that comes up very often until you pick it. Strategic resources should not be rare like that. But because they are, I have to pick them. I have no choice. Any experienced Stellaris player knows exactly what I'm talking about. And if you're new, don't skip the strategic resources. If you skip on exotic gases, volatile modes, synthetic crystals, you may never see them again in your entire run. I've had it happen. Terrible experience. I don't recommend it. Learn from my suffering. It is an exercise in suffering. You have all this great potential, all this great stuff you want to do, but you don't have any strategic resources to buy them. Yeah, let us lock technologies. I want that orbital ring, but I know I can't pass on exotic gases, so I lock the exotic gases, I pick the orbital ring, or vice versa, so the next time rolls around, then I can go with that one, or something better. Make it so at the very least we can lock something at any given time, at least one thing. If not all of them, that'd be even better, but you know what? I could see some people saying that that's too overpowered. All right? So we'll be generous and just say one. Just one. If you just let me lock one tech, that would solve all my tech problems in Stellaris immediately. So there's my view on that. Also, I got something to say about this cookie cutter specialization idea in video games, which I think is in the background has ruined a lot of games. So one of them in particular, 7 Days to Die. So when you're playing a sandbox game, people want to let people do what the hell they want to do. If I want to have, I don't think there's any reason why I can't have a good fleet, good tech, and good economy. But oftentimes, for me, what I end up having to do, I either have to choose between building fleets, working on my economy, or focusing on my tech. And at the very least, I have to choose between tech or economy and fleet power. Remove that, please. I hate that. That is annoying as hell. So give us more ways to avoid that from happening. I think give us more choices. You know, let us play the way we want to play. So this whole conquest, exploration, development, it sounds good on paper, but again, you're cookie cuttering us. You're forcing us to play a certain way, and we don't want to, or at least I don't. But I'm sure I speak for other people here. I'm sure I can speak for other people here. I can't be alone on this. I've heard many complaints from players at various games. Their number one complaint is that they don't let them play they don't let them, my playstyle isn't there. I'm not allowed to do my playstyle. And that's really what players want to do. They want to play the game the way they want to play it. Not the way you want to play it, developers. They want to play it the way they want to play it. They bought your game, they gave you their money, It's like, it's my car, okay? I own it. I don't care if Ford built it. I'm going to drive that vehicle wherever the hell I want to drive it. If I want to put fire to it and burn it up in flames, I should have a right to do that. It's my property, right? So, but then again, you say, well, we don't own anything anymore. Yeah, sure, whatever. I don't want to get into that discussion. That is kind of annoying too. But you see my point, right? People want to play the game the way they want to play it. I don't care who you are. We all feel that way to an extent. Unless we're doing a challenge, then but even then, we're playing the game the way we want to play. So, forcing people to choose between a conquest path, exploration, and development just seems like more of the same to me. We're already doing that now. We're already having to choose between tech and fleet power. I mean, what is so different about this? I don't think it's any different, guys. Am I missing something here? Leave a comment if you think I am. I'd be glad to hear it. I'm open to suggestions. Maybe there's something I don't see here. Okay? Now, I heard the Hearts of Iron system is pretty good. I've heard a lot of really good things about that game, and I promise, guys, someday I'm going to crack open that game and play it. Just for you guys. I will do it. I'll buy that game, crack it open, and try it. When I do, I'll make a stream of it. How's that sound? Because a lot of you guys in the past have said, oh, have you played Hearts of Iron? It's really good. And the reviews speak for itself. So, I mean, I have checked that game out from time to time. I just never got around to buying it. But I promise someday I will, guys. Empire Timeline, accessible via a new tab. So within the situation log, the Empire Timeline is a real-time chronicle of your Empire's journey, from humble beginnings on your homeworld to heights of galactic dominance or deaths of magnanimous defeat. Timeline will automatically document key events and milestones as they occur. We aim for the timeline to serve as a practical ledger, allowing you to retrace pivotal decisions and moments that have shaped your game. It will also provide a rich narrative framework, transforming your gameplay into a story worth remembering. Okay. We look forward to sharing more details on the Empire Timeline in the future diary. For now, we invite you to prepare your empires for posterity and to ensure that your name echoes across the stars. Now, this sounds exciting. I'm not going to lie. It sounds exciting. My question is, Is this basically a replay? Am I going to be able to go back and go, okay, I made this mistake here, I made that mistake there, okay, I did this wrong, okay, I'll do it better next time. That's what I want to see. I would love something like that. Now, I have my videos to watch also for that, of course. But I think it would be really nice also being able to share this. If it's basically a replay or if it's a fancier version of a replay, like Replay 2.0 or better than Replay. Yeah, if it's better, if it's Replay or better, you know, equivalent, you know, I hope it's better. That's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping it's Replay and more. Like, that'd be great. Like, you could share it. You could post it. Like, you know, I could post it to my YouTube channel. Great, you know, make content about it, make a video about it. I am all for this. I'm all for the spirit of this change. You know, where this is coming from. It just kind of, again, I'm saying, why are you doing this now? Should have done this like 10 years ago, or when you know, not necessarily. I'm not saying the time of the release. I'm not being that hard, but definitely could have came out with this a few years ago. You know, I'm sure I'm not the first person to mention a replay option, right? Yeah, especially because the other thing too, well, okay, let's just read on. So, quality of life improvements. Many of the other changes also fall into quality of life improvements, but two I want to highlight in particular, excuse me, include improvements to the species modification process and the colonization, whatever that means. I guess species modification process, yeah, that's when you modify your species. Colonization flow, I guess, colonizing planets. Could have just said that. So it's kind of like the language here. I have a problem with this sometimes. You guys know I'm a fan of simple, right? I'm a fan of cutting the bullshit. So if you can say something simply, then say it that way. You don't need big words to make it sound better. I'm not a fan of that. I'm not at all. So when I run into that stuff, I'm like, it grinds my gears, as Peter Griffin likes to say. You know what really grinds my gears? I know I've got Family Guy fans out there. Who doesn't love Family Guy? Like, seriously, dude. I'm sorry, but you know what? I probably shouldn't say it, but I think, I don't know. I don't understand somebody not liking Family Guy. I don't know, dude. Like, it just, yeah. Enough said. You know what? If you don't like Family Guy, I want to hear why. Please leave a comment. Okay. I don't think I'll get any, but like, you know, other than the occasional troll, we'll see. Colonization process. Colonizing worlds had a few quirks that were smoothing out to make for a better experience. Okay? Especially if you use colony automation. Colony automation. Okay. We're talking about automation now. All right. We're changing the colony designation to a modifier that will exist for some time after initial colonization, and letting you pick a colony designation and even turn automation on when you give the colonization order. This should prevent a common situation in the mid to late game where you would colonize a planet but have to pick and choose between using automation or losing out on the amenity or stability bonuses of the default designation. Okay. Never noticed that problem. So I don't really know what. Okay. I guess some people were complaining about that. I don't know. The new flow also helps out automation significantly, since you won't end up with in a situation where colony is no longer a valid designation and it falls back to an auto-designated selection. Okay. So now I heard from somebody before I read this that they were throwing automation out. I don't really think that's what they're doing here so far. Let me read on though. Maybe I'm wrong. Let me read on. F off pop-up. Okay. See, the Windows notifications bug me enough I don't need it in Stellaris. Species modification and assimilation targets. We've gone through a genetic modification process to remove many pain points and make the overall flow much smoother. You'll also be able to set a template as the species default, and can set subspecies variants to automatically integrate over time into the species default template. So, species tab is generally more helpful as well. I don't really know what I'm looking at here. Okay, I think I know what they're saying here. Okay, so all right, so I think now it sounds like they want to make it so that you can choose a default species for other species to fall in line with over time and just change into automatically, so that you don't have to sit there and micromanage it all the time. I mean, that's I guess that's okay. 1 second. Okay, ship designer. As we did with species modification, we've gone through the ship designer to improve the general process of creating new ship designs. Let's see. Screen, gunship, artillery. Okay, this looks pretty cookie color. Pretty cookie color. I don't like the fact that I don't see carrier on here. That's not cool. They better have carrier. I'm gonna be mad. The next few weeks, there's a lot more going on into this update as well. I'm hoping to challenge Lem for a patch note crown. Next week, we'll go into more detail about some of the changes coming to Stellaris Phoenix update that are possible to show, including some things I didn't go into above the precursor selection and the Stellaris databank. See you then. So, all right, since we're looking at weapons, let's talk about ship design and weapons. This is what I want to see. Everything needs a valid counter. No weapon should be so powerful that no other weapon can counter. That's fair. I think that's really the fairest way of doing it. Yeah, it would disrupt my current play style a little bit, because, you know, Strikecraft pretty much doesn't really have that many counters. And the counters that it does have aren't very effective against it most of the time. Now, I did get countered recently, and that happens every once in a while, but since I've adopted the strategy that I laid out for you guys in my recent ship design video, I have not had any problems, not very rarely. I can count on one hand the times that I've lost a battle out of all the games I played. Okay? Even that Galactic War. I can count on one hand the times I've lost a fleet. You know, where it looked like I was going to win, but then all of a sudden, you know, they pull a fast one on me and I lose for no reason. Other thing, for the love of God, I'll say it again. I said it in my video over and over again. Give us a more efficient, effective way of telling what the hell is going on with our fleet battles, with the enemy's weapons, okay? For example, in Star Trek Deep Space Nine, the Jem'Hadar R had weapons that really fucked them up in the beginning. But because they were exposed to those weapons, they got to figure out what they were and make a counter to them. And that helped turn the tide of the war, of the Dominion War. That is an example of what I'm talking about. It is unrealistic for me to not know what the hell just whooped my ass, right? It is. It's not fun, and it's immersion breaking. Okay? Right now, there really is no effective system, no effective way to really, other than I've got to sit there, look at the little tiny ship on the screen. Okay, that module's missing. There's a turret there, but there isn't one there. Just spell it out. Just put it up there. You know? Just let me look at it. You know? Let me look at it and then make it unavailable after a certain amount of time. Like, maybe after a year. I can't look at it anymore. In the battle report, show me exactly what did the most damage to my ships. Not this big, giant list of all these random weapons and numbers and everything that I don't have time to make heads or tails of that. Just, let me know what the hell is going on. It's like, okay. It needs to be, the battle reports need to be a lot clearer. A lot clearer. Not this mathematical gobbledygook. I'm not saying not math is bad. I'm just saying that, like, math to the point to where you can't read it is ridiculous. Okay? Look, I get it. Some of you guys out there are mathematicians. Some of you guys are numbers guys. There's a lot of you Stellaris YouTubers. They like to pull up the Excel spreadsheet. I am not going to pull up an Excel spreadsheet to figure out why I got my ass whooped. I'm not. I'm just going to play a different game. I'm just going to play a different game. I mean, really. Just, so, yeah. The battle report needs to be a lot less confusing. Okay? And it needs to be simple. Right? Simplify that down. Okay. Now, they show you what damage the weapons do, but they don't even list whose effing weapons it is. Clearly. Nothing is clear on that battle report. It's like, what am I looking at? Am I alone here? Am I the only guy that sees this? I mean, I've looked at these battle reports extensively. And I still have to guess at what killed my ships. Make it clear, cut the bullshit. We don't need. I don't want to spend 10 minutes figuring out what whooped my ass. I want to spend 10 minutes making preparations to go whoop their ass. That's what I want to do. That's fun to me. Not sitting there sorting through an Excel spreadsheet. You know what you do? You know what you use in Excel. You know when you look at an Excel spreadsheet, you know what you're usually doing? Working. You're usually at your job. I don't want to be at a job. I want to play Stellaris. Okay, so yeah. Throw out the Excel spreadsheet, simplify the stuff, make it readable. You don't have to make it dumb, necessarily, though some would argue with me and say, well, you are telling us to make it dumb. Well, no, I'm not. And if you feel that way, okay, fine. I can't change your opinion, right? But I'm telling you, this is what I see. Simplify stuff. Lowest common denominator, that kind of principle. Okay? You don't have to make it dumb. Okay? You don't have to dumb it down. Like, I'll use, there are many games where they are extremely complicated, but they are still very simple. Okay? It's kind of like a minute to learn, a lifetime to master. That's what I think this game should be. It's plain to see. You can clearly see, okay, they are countering me with Strikecraft. What, hell, you could even give them a tip if they're a noob, right? You can turn tips off. That says, oh, this person is attacking you with Strikecraft. You should probably use point defense on your next ship design. And have, that paper, rock, scissors has worked since the beginning of time for a reason. I mean, there's a reason it works in so many other games. You got to do that here too. This game can't be any different. So that's the changes to weapons that I would like to see. Okay, if torpedoes are whooping my butt, I want to be able to switch to point defense and take care of that shit. But the way the game is right now, I can't do that. Torpedoes have no counter other than Strikecraft. And the only reason Strikecraft even counters them is because they outrange them. That's it. And Strikecraft aren't really countered well by anything. Not really. Not the way it is right now. That I've seen. Okay? So yeah, make counterplay way easier. No? I can't exercise my skill if I don't know what's going on. You know? If you know, and that's kind of the thing. And then again, that would also require overhauling the espionage process. Okay? And prioritizing intel above all else. And making at the very least, even if you keep the espionage system the way it is, there at least needs to be another feature that gives you guaranteed intel in a timely manner. Not 100 years, not 200 years, not the entire freaking game. No, 10 years or less. I want full intel on a target empire in 10 years or less. Whether I got to spend influence or more resources, whatever I got to do. But there needs to be a way to do it. A simple way to do it that is available to every build. Okay? You know, spy network. I recommend the spy network, but there needs to be a way to target an empire, say, okay, I want to know everything about that empire in the next 10 years so I can prepare. You know, launch that spy network, you know, spend influence, do whatever you got to do, whatever they want to do to balance it, you know. But if I got the resources, I should be able to do it. But right now, there is nothing in the game that allows you to do that. If I've got a devouring swarm breathing down my neck and their entire empire is dark and I don't see any of their fleets, I don't know what their ships are carrying, what kind of weapons, how am I supposed to fight that? And oftentimes, you know, and I've been burned many times, I basically, when I go into an empire, you know, when I fight an empire, I'm going in blind. I have no idea if I'm going to win or not because of this. I've no, because the intel gain is so bad. If nothing else, I think we can all agree the intel gain in this game sucks. It really does. Absolutely sucks. Okay? And it needs to be dealt with. You got to do something about it, Paradox. Okay? You got to give us a way, if you want us to counterplay, if you want paper, rock, scissors, if you want differing fleets, right? And people to try different stuff than just doom stacks of battleships with X-Lot weapons, then you need to make paper, rock, scissors make sense and viable. You know, make every weapon have a weakness and give us the goddamn intel we need so that we can counter. And in 100 years, 100 years is not enough time. 100 years, they've already killed us. You know, they've already destroyed my empire. You know, hell, 10 years is a long time. In 10 years, they could have declared war on me, rolled through my system, and I still have no idea what they destroyed me. Yeah, just need to make this shit. Yeah, I'm done. I'm done with that. Let's move on. So the next few weeks, there's a lot more going into this update as well. I'm hoping to challenge them for the patch note crown. Okay. Next week, we'll go into more detail about some of the changes coming to Stellaris Phoenix update that are possible to show, including something I didn't go into above, like precursor selection and the Stellaris databank. Okay. So most of you have seen my video, right? My how to save Stellaris video. Highly encourage anybody who hasn't watched that, again, watch it. You'll understand why I have this sort of somewhat pessimistic attitude towards this post. Even in this post, my overall verdict and take on this post is that part of me wants to say too little, too late, though I don't think that's completely accurate. You know, or called for. I mean, they are trying, right? They do. It does seem like they are at least aware of the issues and are at least somewhat willing to do something about them. It's just, gosh, what's the date? January 21st, 2025. January 1st, 2025. When did Stellaris get released? Let's look. Let's go back. Hold on, I'll pull it up in a second. want you guys to see my shit. When was Stellaris released? Oh, almighty AI. May 9th, 2016. So you're telling me it's taken, I guess that's 5 years? 5 years to address this. Forgive me, I'm a little pessimistic. I'm a little pessimistic, I am. Like, it's kind of like, this is stuff you should have fixed in the first couple years. You know? I mean, I guess that's my reaction, guys. A little late. I guess that's what I want to say for some of this stuff. Now, one of my fears was them throwing out the automation feature. I don't really think that's what they're proposing here. I could be wrong. Like, again, if there was something I missed here. Yeah, in fact, period. If there's something I missed here, guys, please point it out. Like, I want to be optimistic, right? I mean, I hope they do fix things. I do. It's just 5 years have gone by. I mean, time is something you never get back, right? So, yeah, I mean, oh, actually, I missed something here. And the auto-generate designs checkbox won't stop you from saving a new ship design. Oh, that is cool. I like that. About damn time they did that as well. So anyway, well, it's 1:30, guys. That's on average the time I usually lose steam and you know, end the stream. But I think we could have a little post discussion here. So Echo, you definitely agree, huh? That's good. I mean, I know your name's Echo, but listen, guys, I don't want an echo chamber. I'm pretty sure I made that clear from the get-go, but I'll make it clear now if nothing else. Yeah, I don't look for an echo chamber, guys. You disagree with me? You have a different take? I want to know. I do. As long as it's respectful, right? Terms of service is a thing, right? But barring that, yeah. Yeah, you've never heard that before with your name. Sarcasm, right? But yeah, like, no, guys, as a creator, I don't want an echo chamber. I don't want to be told what I want to hear. I want to be told the truth. Okay? If the truth hurts, it hurts. You know? But I'll move on. But you know, obviously, if it's lies, I'll deal with that. But you know, if you guys have ever observed my responses to the many comments over the years, you'll know that I am not above admitting when I'm wrong. I have been called out in comments, and I have looked at them, and they irritated me, right? I don't want to be wrong, but I am. And I have to look at it in the face and go, you know what? This man's right. And then I say it, right? No, but my ego, my pride want to crowd in and everything. You know, but I've got to say no to that, right? I don't want that weakness of not knowing the truth. I think so many people, I'm gonna say people, they go through life living in an echo chamber, being told what they want to hear, and they're not, you know, they're not really living. They're not growing, and they can't because everybody tells them they're amazing, or tells them what they want to hear. So they never know what's really going on. My best friends, I'll tell you, the greatest friends I've had in my life, they tell me I'm being a baby. They tell me I'm being an asshole. They tell me when I'm the asshole, right? They do. They hold my feet to the fire. They don't give me a pass, you know? As much as I hate it sometimes, right? It's good for me. you know, and that's how I feel about negative comments. Because, like I said, provide they're respectful. Now, I mean, some comments are unreasonable, and you know, I deal with those. But most of the comments, honestly, I don't have a problem at all with somebody feeling differently about something I've said here on the stream. You know, maybe you like RP, right? Maybe you like combat the way it is. Maybe you love those complicated battle reports. You know, yeah, a little bit of this is subjective, but I think the problem I'm trying to point out, guys, is that the point I'm trying to make is I am not alone here. I have heard other people complain about this same stuff, and just like Echo agreed with me. Okay, I think a large majority of the player base feels the way I do about a lot of this stuff. You know, and then when I made my How to Save Stellaris video, I got way more positive comments than I did negative ones. Now, that could be a psychological trick as well. That could be just people were afraid to disagree with me. I don't know. But, I mean, no, usually if people are going to disagree with you in the comments, they'll do it. There's not really a lot to fear on the internet. There really isn't. Other than getting, like, banned or demonetized. I mean, but if you're just a Joe, right? You know, you don't have a channel, you don't have anything at stake. You can just sling shit all over the place, and there's no consequences, you know, no real ones. But yeah, like, you know, so I do respect people that respectfully disagree with me. I absolutely will give that respect in return. Absolutely. I've had comments where they said, I disagree with everything you've said in this video. I'm like, great. You know, thanks for telling me. You know, thanks for preventing that echo chamber. I appreciate it. You know, and I'll tell you right now. I'll look at it right now. Pull it up. That no, we'll talk about this. My How to Save Stellaris video real quick here. We'll look at the analytics. Make a point to you guys. By the way, How to Build a Battleship is getting even more popular. I don't know how that's possible. It's been out for years. Usually, my videos die after they're a certain age. But that hasn't been happening. Also, apparently, you guys really like placing research labs. That short seems to... You guys seem to like that more and more. So, you know, thanks for giving me that information. I've definitely been considering it. So... Oh, Space Marine hit 3,000 views. That's cool. I mean, for me, that's cool. You know, for some YouTubers, that'd be chump change, right? But you know what? This is where I'm at, right? I want to be grateful for everything I get. So, let's see. So, How to Save Stellaris. Now, let's see. It has got 113 comments. That's crazy. And then it's got 93 likes and 25 dislikes. This is the most polarizing video I've ever come out with. So I don't really feel bad that it's got a 78% like ratio. That's actually really good considering the shit that I was slinging in that video, to be honest. So that kind of tells me that while not everybody agrees with what I was saying there, a lot of people do. A lot of people do. You know, it is a little bit of a reinforcement. It is. So it tells me that I'm not really alone in a lot of these views that I have about this game. You know, but you know what I get a lot too? And this is great also. I get people that have commented that say, I agree with this, but I don't agree with that. I love that. I do. I love it. It's like, you know what? Hey, that's good. So why didn't you think about why you agree with this? And then we talk about it. We have a debate or whatever, and a respectful one, right? I say, okay, well, I think of it this way because of this. And we just compare notes, right? That's how people did things back in the day. You know? That kind of back and forth, you know? Comparing ideas. not making it personal, right? It's not personal. That's just the way, again, the way they want to play, you know? So yeah. But anyway, really liking the numbers today, guys. 7 concurrent views. That's pretty cool. Again, I do the stream for you guys. I have been thinking lately, maybe, more and more about the possibility of possibly just using my streams to make videos. I have to mull it over. I'm overdue for a video. I know it. But like I said, I'm having a lot of mic problems right now. I don't know if you noticed. Maybe my mic sounds good right now, but I swear to God, when I record lately, when I've recorded a video and I've played it back, it sounds like shit. It just sounds like, no way. There's no way that I can ship this. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm struggling with right now, and it's kind of messing with my head a little bit. So I think I may even need to buy another mic. There's a lot of problems with this mic that I bought too. So struggle. But honestly, part of me is just like, fuck it. Okay, so I sound like shit. At least I'm coming out with a video. What are you guys' thoughts on that? I need to know. Would you rather me upload more frequently with a bad mic or a mic that doesn't sound as good as it used to? Or would you rather have very high quality mic, but it take even longer for me to release my next video? Let me know in the comments if you can. Echo, we can definitely do that. Hit me up in Discord, bro. You know where I'm at. I'd be happy to share my sayings with you. I would love somebody to go in this with me and help me fix this shit. It is killing me, dude. I'm not gonna lie, guys. It's killing me. I would have came out with a video weeks ago. Weeks ago. Excuse me. Sorry. I'm hungry. I would have came out with a video weeks ago. I'll give you an hour if you need it now. Whatever fixes the problem, I'm willing to do it. Anyway, guys, it was good talking to y'all. I pretty much made my case. Again, if you have questions as to why I feel this way, please watch the How to Save Stellaris video in 2024. That will tell you why I'm having this attitude towards this post. I want to be excited, but again, it's kind of a case of too little too late, and also, not mentioning other concerns that I've had. Like they mentioned nothing about the warfare system. Not really. All they've mentioned are pop-ups and the notifications, which is an ongoing annoyance, sure, but like warfare, I mean, it's killing it for me. I don't know about you guys, but warfare in Stellaris is a sore spot. It is a buzzkill, dude. And as a developer, for me personally, I would do everything in my power to eliminate anything from my game that's making it a buzzkill. Because that's like the anathema to what gaming is, which is entertainment. No one wants to play a buzzkill, right? I mean, unless you're playing Super Meat Boy or something. I mean, and I've never played that game, by the way, and I won't. I got done with Mario games a long time ago, which is what all those games are. They're basically just Mario clones, for the most part. Or they call them platformers, right? Yeah, I mean, platformers, sure. Basically, every game like that's come out since Mario is basically just copying the same formula. Platformer, you jump around, have different abilities and things like that, and if you get hit once or twice, you die. And then you have to start over. So, anyway, that being said, guys, I really appreciate the engagement today. I'm glad that somebody brought this to my attention. So I appreciate everything, and just want to say, you know, here's to the future. And with that, I'll let you guys go. Take care and have a good